Hey everyone, Stephen Cook here. Welcome to VTS Hebrew. The adventure is about to begin. The ancient rabbi was right on target when he said reading the Bible in translation is like kissing your bride at the wedding through the veil. Now, it's possible to do that, but you certainly miss a great deal of intimacy. You want to speak the same language as the Bible. Grow closer to God through that. We're starting the adventure, even before class begins, by learning the alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet. I cannot really stress enough how important it is to really memorize all the letters of the alphabet. You can do it in just a few hours, and you want to be able to write them out as fast as you can write your ABCs, and you want to be able to say the Hebrew alphabet just as fast as you can say your ABCs. So lay a solid foundation for the rest of this year by memorizing the Hebrew alphabet very, very well. Now, as we begin, I should say there is a relationship generally between the name of the Hebrew consonant and the sound that that letter makes. That initial sound of the name is usually the sound of the letter. So a Hebrew gimel makes a g sound. A Hebrew dalet makes a d sound. So as you learn the names of the letters, you're kind of learning the sounds that they make. Now, one caveat here, and listen carefully, the Hebrew alphabet has no vowels.
Oh no!
We'll say that again. The Hebrew alphabet has no vowels. We'll learn a little bit about that later. But all of the sounds that you'll be learning are consonant sounds. Now, some of those sounds will not be sounds that you're familiar with at all, but that'll be part of the fun of learning a Semitic language. One of the letters, one of my teachers said, sounds like the sound of a camel's incipient vomiting. So we'll get to that in a minute. But again, learn to write out the alphabet just as well and as easily as you can write out your ABCs. And practice until you can say the Hebrew alphabet just as fast as you can say your ABCs. Now, some people, in memorizing the alphabet, find it helpful to chunk the letters into smaller groups. So you might memorize Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, and then do it again. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, and then Vav, Zayin, Het, Tet, Yod, and so forth. So with those chunks of letters, by chunking the alphabet, it may aid you in memorizing the entire thing. You can put it all together. Spend half an hour doing 5 letters, another half an hour doing the next 5, and then begin putting it together. Once the course starts, we'll learn songs and other fun ways to memorize the alphabet. But again, you can do it. A college student, a university student can memorize the Hebrew alphabet in just 3 or 4 hours. So just set aside the time, put the time in, and just do it. All right, let's go ahead and look at the formation of the letters and talk about the sounds. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, and you can, of course, look at some books, watch some videos to help reinforce this, and we're going to go over all of this in class on the first day. All right, the first letter is Aleph. Aleph. It's not an A sound. It's really what linguists call a guttural stop, a little click in the throat. We'll say more about that in class. Aleph is drawn like this. The next letter is Bet. It is a B sound, Bet, and it is drawn like this. Don't forget the little tittle at the lower right-hand corner. The next letter is Gimel. It's the Hebrew name for camel, and it makes the sound of a G, not a soft J, but a hard G. The next letter is Dalet. That's your D sound, Dalet. And don't forget the little tittle up in the upper right-hand corner of the letter. all of these letters can be formed as if they are being made in a box. As we write them out, it may look a little bit different than what you'll see on a video on the web or what you'll see printed in a textbook, but you'll soon and very quickly become used to being able to spot a typeset Dalet and a handwritten Dalet. Just takes a little practice. The next letter after Dalet is He, and that makes an H sound. The next letter is a Vav, and usually we say that makes a V sound, Vav, although an alternative pronunciation is a W sound, wow. Next letter is Zion, that's a Z sound. That's Zion. It has a little cap on the top to distinguish it from the Vav. So what have we got so far? Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zion. The next letter is the Chet. Chet. It's kind of an H, but it has a more guttural sound to it. So you begin to make the Chet sound back in the throat, as if you were going to say the Loch Ness monster, Chet. Next letter is a T sound, Tet, Tet. And the next letter is a Y sound, Yod, Yod. This one is a small letter, just a jot, and this little jot is written up at the top of this hypothetical square in which these letters all seem to fit. So Chet, Tet, Yod. Next letter is Chaf. Chaf, it looks like a backwards C, but written much larger to fill that hypothetical box. And again, it's never a soft ch sound, or S sound, but it is a hard K sound, or sometimes more like the Chet. So, Chet, Tet, Yod, Chaf, Lamed. The Lamed is the L, and it is a very beautiful letter, very rounded, curves around like a whip in motion. Het, Tet, Yod, Chaf, Lamed. Then the M sound, Mem, Mem. And then the N sound, Nun, Nun. Now, to distinguish the Nun from the Vav and the Zion and such, you want to make sure that you've got the little head and the little foot, so that you're filling in the whole right side of the box and also a little bit of the top and the bottom of the box to make your Nun. Now, you'll notice this part of the alphabet is a little bit similar to English. L, M, N, Lamed, Mem, Nun, and so forth. And that's not coincidental. Did you know that the Semitic cultures were the first to invent the alphabet? And that ultimately, even our English alphabet comes through a somewhat circuitous route back from the Semitic Hebrew type of alphabet. All right, Lamed, Mem, Nun. Then we've got a Samik, which is an S. Looks a little bit like a Greek sigma, but written backwards. Hebrew, by the way, goes from right to left, opposite English. So you need to begin to get used to that. And many of the letters will be turned around in that sense. Okay, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samik, Ayin. Again, this is a consonant, but not one that we're used to. It's a gurgle in the throat, if you will, a sound. In practice, it's rarely pronounced. It's a little stop in the throat between consonant sounds. We'll get to that more in class. Samik Ayin Pei, that's your P sound. And it has a little squiggle, almost like a yod at the top of it, to distinguish it from letters like the Kaf. So Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samik, Ayin, Pei. Tzadeh is a very interesting letter. You go down transversing the box and then across the bottom, and then there's a hook in the upper right. It's an S sound, but a hissing S sound, almost like a TS sound, as in hits, tzade. So lambid mem nun, samik ayin pei, tzade kof. Kof looks like a backwards Q, if you will, but bigger, and it makes never a soft QU sound, but a hard K sound. Samik ayin pei, tzade kof resh. That's your R sound. It looks like a lowercase r, but again backwards, facing off to the left. Tzade kof resh. Now almost done. Two letters that look very similar, sin and shin. And there's a little dot at the top that tells you whether it's a sin or a shin. Different tricks for learning that. One is that the sin, the S sound, has the little dot on the left because left was often thought to be sinister. So it's sin-like, sinister. If you ever confuse the sin and the shin, I may tell you, oh, no, that's a sin. The shin is an SH sound, and the dot there is on the right. And again, that's a sh sound for a shin. And then the last letter is another T, shaped differently than the tet. We tend to pronounce in modern Israeli pronunciation of Hebrew the tet and the tav the same. But this one is shaped like a het, but with a little foot at the lower left of the hypothetical box in which you draw it. Originally, it looked like a cross or a mark, an X. And we'll talk a little bit about the history of the development of these letters when the course begins. They were originally acrophonic, that is, they actually looked like objects whose name began with the same letter that the sound of these consonants makes. Okay, that is the Hebrew alphabet, short and sweet. We'll go over it again in class. Meanwhile, feel free to play this video as often as you like, and do text me or email me with any questions about any of this. Good luck. Enjoy it. Don't get stressed out. We're going to have a lot of fun in this course. See you soon.